This is an amazing woman who has served in so many ways in this community and has supported our organization and others. She was just talking with a few other people here in the room who have MS as well, and they were encouraging each other. It's Michelle Rappaport Moore. She serves on our Women Against MS Luncheon Committee and is just an amazing woman. She's going to tell you about her story. Please welcome her to the stage.
Good evening. Thanks, Stacey. I appreciate it. So, I often speak at events like this about MS and having MS, and I always wonder what I'm going to talk about. And so, for this group of people, I've thought, you guys have been out there in the really warm weather today, fighting. I heard about dogs on the route. I heard about flat tires, large hills, etc., etc. But you really get what it's like to be on a wild ride and to have to endure things to get to your goal. And what I tell you is having MS today is very similar to that. I was diagnosed in 2001, but in 1993 was when MS came into my life when my sister was diagnosed with it at that time. And so I began volunteering and doing things in my community and learning a little bit about MS. Yet, how convenient it was that I maintained enough denial to think, a sibling getting MS is like lightning striking in in the same place, right? Well, that's actually not true. If you have a sibling who has MS, you're 38% more likely to get MS yourself. Well, I conveniently didn't hear that someplace and didn't put that together. And throughout the 90s, as I was involved in my own endurance training, being a runner and, running half marathons and 10Ks and things like that, and being told by doctor after doctor after doctor that all these very weird symptoms of numbness and tingling and, flashes of, energy going down my legs and things like that were just me training too hard, and I just needed to stop. It was a quite wild ride in itself. That culminated in 2001, really before that in 2000 on my wedding day even, my hands going numb and my arms going numb. A year later on my anniversary, sitting in the melting pot in Cordova, Tennessee, and my legs going numb, I finally decided, okay, this is not training. I'm eating fondue, I'm not training, right? So went and saw the doctor, and sure enough, got a really good diagnosis at that time and discovered that I had MS. But that's really not why I'm up here talking to you tonight. I'm up here talking to you tonight because my sister has MS, I have MS, my cousin has MS. A few years ago they discovered the MS gene, but I have 2 kids at home. I have an 11-year-old son and I have an 8-year-old daughter who look at me pretty much on a weekly basis, especially in the summer when it's hot and I can't get outside and play too much, and say, "Mom, will I have MS when I grow up?" And I'm not a liar. And so I have to tell them, "Sweetie, I don't know. I hope not. I'm working really hard to make sure that you don't. I'm doing everything I can to make sure that you don't." And they look at me, because especially the 8-year-old goes, "Okay." The 11-year-old who's a lot smarter, he has a tendency to ask a lot more questions like, "Well, what can I do?" And, "Well, when will we know?" And "Will they ever cure it?" And things like that. I don't have answers for him. I don't. So I can tell you that's why I'm here tonight. I can tell you tomorrow when you hit the wall and you're halfway up it and you're thinking, "Oh my gosh, I can't do it anymore," that's why you're doing this. So even if you're just here to ride because you're a biker and you just love to ride and you just love to be out there and it, makes you feel whole spiritually and physically and that sort of stuff, know this, that somewhere up in Memphis, Tennessee, there are some kids that are counting on you. And they're counting on having a future that is absent of MS. And I want to be able to go home to them and not have to say to them, "I don't know. I don't know." I want to be able to go home and say, "You don't have to worry about that in the future. We've got that taken care of." So I want to let you know I appreciate you. I appreciate all that you do, all the endurance you go through, being out there in the heat today, sweating, and again, dogs and things things like that, all that. I really appreciate it, and that what you do tonight, the money you raise, really goes to benefit the future as well as the present, and gives hope to those of us who have MS, and those of us who have maybe another generation of people who potentially could have MS. So I want to really appreciate you. I want to appreciate our wonderful sponsors, FedEx and Gold Strike, and thank them so much for all that they do. I want to thank the staff at the MS Society for all they do, Danielle and Stacy and Sherry. I mean, fantastic folks that just put their heart and their soul into this. And I hope all of you thank them tomorrow. And I hope all of you get to see my little kids tomorrow cheer their dad on, who this is his first year to ride in the ride. So know that you really are here to ensure a future that is free of MS. And it's not far away. I can stay up here today and say that and speak the truth. It's not far away. I think it'll be in my lifetime, as long as we keep doing this and showing up and raising the money. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing what you do and being who you are. And yeah, and that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michelle. And I hope that she has given you some inspiration